Well, let's get cracking because it's a super exciting and important topic that we're going to be tackling today. Because I think this is a debate we're having here in the United States, and the example from Thailand we're going to be discussing today. I think, like, obviously, the context is really different, but this discussion of the sex industry, legalization, decriminalization, what are the differences between those things? Those things are relevant to the discussions we're having in America today about the sex industry and what's happening with it. So I'm really looking forward to this this discussion.
In a country like Thailand, where a major part of the GDP is its illegal but well-known sexual tourism industry, is legalizing the answer to cutting down on the sex trafficking and actual sex with underage children. If Thailand legalizes one of the most well-known red light districts in the world, would this cut down on the violence that many in the industry face and be a win for labor rights for the people within the industry? Or does it just make the state the pimp? We have investigative journalist Neha Wadekar. I hope I said her name right. She recently wrote an article about Thailand for Foreign Policy titled, "Thailand is the Global Capital of Illegal Sex Work." Also, wherever you're listening or watching the show, there will be a link in the description to the article. Despite earning billions annually, the industry is effectively illegal, controversial among Thais, and highly stigmatized. Now, the debate over sex work is spilling into public forums, with a progressive lawmaker introducing a bill in parliament to legalize it. Its proponents argue that criminalization has deprived sex workers of basic labor rights and protections enjoyed by other workers, making them more vulnerable to health risks, harassment, exploitation, and violence, while making sex work itself no less visible. Visiting Thailand and not noticing any sex workers, it's like going to KFC and you never see fried chicken, I said. The majority of sex workers in the world are women, and a 2017 projection by the Thai Department of Disease Control conservatively estimated that 129,000 of the 144,000 sex workers in the country are female. But it's men who make the decisions about what they can do with their bodies. Women held 16% of Thailand's parliamentary seats in 2021, the same figure as 10 years ago. By comparison, women made up 20% of Saudi Arabia's governing assembly and 28% of the U.S. Congress that year. The fight for legalization is an uphill battle. Conservative factions within the country and global anti-trafficking organizations remain strongly opposed to sex work. The U.S. Agency for International Development calls Thailand a source, transit, and destination country for trafficking. And opponents of the bill say the sex industry enables widespread abuse of women and children across the country and neighboring Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar. That is from journalist Neha Wadekar. Please welcome Neha.
Hi, guys. Thank you.
Neha. Gotcha.
Yeah. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for returning. Gene didn't warn you. I know that. This will be, it's still a very serious topic.
I mean, last time I had Ryan Grimm to protect me, so now I'm solo.
I want you to say that out loud.
Last time I had.
Is he a Clint
Ryan
Eastwood
Grimm
protector or a Kevin Costner protector?
Oh,
or
God.
a combination of the both.
He leans Clint Eastwood. Harrison Ford. He's gonna kill me.
Well, if we get a message for Ryan Grimm that, that he saw the show, but that should be his new Twitter handle, right? The Clint Eastwood of journalism.
The real Clint Eastwood.
The real Clint Eastwood. Yeah, exactly.
So let's cut right to the chase. What did you see when you went to Thailand, a country that is known for its sex trade? What models are they looking at for legalization? The Nordic model or something new? And is there a push by the pimps who run the brothels to keep the sex trade in the shadows? Is there a push by law enforcement even? Because we all understand that there's cuts that they're getting off the top. Is there people within parliament in certain municipalities that want to keep this illegal because maybe they have vested interest in this? What did you see when you were there?
Yeah. Well, just kind of starting with what I saw on the ground. I mean, I was visiting two places, Bangkok and Pattaya City. Pattaya City is known for its sex work. It is a party city. You know, walking down the street, you see people from all over the world, men and women. But, you know, a lot of people from India, China, Russia, you know, generally older men, some who have gone there to retire, for example, others who are just visiting on vacation. And, you know, like the way that we started the article was, you know, it screams, the red light district screams of sex. There is sex everywhere. You know, you walk down the street and you have young women standing outside of massage parlors. They're standing outside of bars. They're just basically standing on the street. It's everywhere and in a lot of different forms. So, you know, you can go into a bar and meet a young woman and spend time with her, just hanging out, drinking beers. She's keeping you company. You know, you can get a massage, you can get a massage plus, and, you know, all the way down the line. At night, these places just blow up. So it goes from kind of seedy, kind of weird during the day, these red light districts. And then at night, it's like crazy. I mean, it's like baby Vegas. You know, there's neon everywhere. There's girls dancing in the windows. There's bouncers outside kind of keeping everyone out who hasn't paid or hasn't put in their dues to get in. The streets are packed and it's just, you know, it's like entertainment all the time. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And, you know, that's what you see in these major cities. Obviously I didn't travel all over Thailand, so I can't speak to the more beautiful kind of tourist beach resort places, right? But this is Bangkok and Pattaya. And then, you know, you asked, is there, what model are they thinking about, right? So as of now, sex work is effectively illegal, which is crazy because, you know, if you watch Hollywood movies, right, everyone says they're going to Thailand for a holiday on their bachelor party. And, you know, it's kind of got this reputation of being a place for sex work. Yeah.
Not to interrupt your flow,
No,
but when you were there, I'm assuming you're seeing a lot of, I don't want to say Westerners, because you probably have people also from the East that are going there. You're closer. So could you see, you know, Anglos walking around trying to buy sex?
Yeah, 100%.
Is that what you mostly saw?
I would say there was a fair amount of that. I was also, you know, there were a lot of Russians. There were a lot of, and this is just based on what I saw, what languages I was hearing, and what people told me, right? So there were a lot of Russian men, there were a lot of Indian men, and there were a lot of Chinese men. So I would say the majority of the people I saw were from Western countries or appeared to be from Western countries. There were Americans, there were Europeans, you know, maybe other places as well. But it was like one of the creepy things, right? Is like sex really, it doesn't matter what race you are and what color you are and where you're from. Like everybody wants sex and everybody was there looking for sex. I think that was like one of the weird things that I hadn't expected before.
You didn't think they were looking for pad thai or?
No, they were not looking for pad thai. I mean, there were people there with their families. Like there were like, yeah, like I saw men there with their wives. There were a lot of Indian couples who came, like the guy and the wife, and like the wives were like really just not looking happy. Like they looked uncomfortable and they were kind of walking around this street. It must've been some, like, they said, okay, either I'll come with you or you go alone. And they decided coming with was better. I don't know. There were also people there with their kids, and I guess their kids would probably play in the sand and be at the beach all day. And then like at night they would, you know, keep them in the hotel and the parents would go out or whatever. It's weird. It's strange dynamics going on there.
That's interesting. So does it feel safe?
It does feel safe. It did feel safe. There's so many people there, and it feels like this is such a big part of the economy, whether it's documented or not, that it is, you know, I felt very comfortable walking down the street. I also felt as a young woman that there was no confusion about who I was and what I was doing there. Nobody was propositioning me for sex. But, you know, there was a very clear purpose to everyone being there. And there were women there too who were
you
going
trying to dress like a tourist, so there was no chance.
I was trying to dress like a nun.
You just baggy cargo.
But there were women there as well.
There were, and actually people that I interviewed said that there are women who come in to meet with women, and there are also male prostitutes, male sex workers. And that is a big part of this as well. There are there's people known as lady boys, which are, men who are dressed as women, but there's also homosexual sex workers, and there are male sex workers who serve female clients. So it's really whatever is on the menu that tickles your fancy, you can find.